everybody? It's the Storm Podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm. I'm here with my boys.
C2 back again.
It's E-Man. You know what it is.
And Tommy Ashman. Great to meet y'all.
What's good? What's good? We have a guest with us today. As you guys know, we don't do guests super often, but when we do, it's always a fun time. I met Tommy at the Hunter exams, the real life Hunter exams this week, and it was awesome. Tell the people a little bit about what you do.
So you've probably seen my videos where I'm swinging a giant 20-pound sword around on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. That's the main thing I do. I'm also a martial artist, stuntman, and an entrepreneur. Yeah.
I did not know you were a stuntman.
Yeah.
That's kind of epic.
It's really fun.
How did you become that?
So I have a friend in LA who I met I think a month into when I moved there, just working out on the beach, and he's a stuntman.
Okay.
And last summer, he just hit me up. They needed an extra guy for a role in a music video, and he just knew I'm a competent martial artist, and I'm just a decent person in general.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, we could call this guy. And he called me and asked if I wanted the part, and I said, sure. And that's how I got involved in stunts.
Ah, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of fire.
I think 2 music videos and 2 movies. And
what movies?
It's a movie on Tubi called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I play a SWAT guy.
Okay.
And I got a little choreo there.
That's kind of fire.
I just did another choreo for a movie that'll be coming out on Amazon in August.
Dope. What's it called?
I actually don't know offhand.
No, it's all good, man. It's cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the real life Hunter exams.
Oh, yeah.
How did you find out about it, first of all?
I saw some Instagram video talking about it. I just scrolled past it and immediately went to the website and bought a ticket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people thought it was a scam. A lot of people were nervous to buy tickets, and some people bought tickets and just didn't show up because they thought it was a scam. I read on the, even beforehand, I went and checked out the Reddit, and a lot of people were saying, don't do this, don't buy this, it's a scam, blah, blah, blah. This. And I was like, well, I knew it wasn't a scam because I had already talked to Matt and got stuff set up. So I was like, I knew it wasn't a scam. But a lot of people thought it was a scam.
Yeah, so I looked at it and I was like, you know what? This could be a scam. But for $70, I'm just going to chance it. Maybe I lose $70 and I never see it again.
Right.
But on the off chance that this is actually happening, I'm going.
And it turned into something crazy,
Oh, it was gigantic.
Because Matt said, originally it was just supposed to be him and 20 people in a mall parking lot. And it was just going to be, something cool. And then social media got it, and it just boomed into something completely different. 1,100 signups.
Yeah.
Is crazy. Yeah. And to have to scale an event from thinking, oh, there's going to be 20 people in the parking lot, to going, oh, this is going to be 1,100 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
a big jump. And I feel like for that happening, it came out great.
It turned out phenomenal. Matt and Charlie put that show on the way they did for their first time running it.
Yeah.
And I've been to a lot of conventions, a lot of trade shows. I've set up my own booths at Fit Expos and stuff. To see how smoothly it went was really impressive.
It was crazy. And obviously there were bumps in the road, right?
Yeah.
But they still got handled pretty well, I would say.
Yeah.
For especially this being the first event.
Absolutely. You also carried it. So my parents watched the entire live stream.
That's fire.
By the way. And after they called me and said, that one live streamer in the blue shirt, he was doing all the talking. He carried the dead time.
Dude, that actually means so much to me.
Yeah.
As a podcaster, that means a lot. And that's the second time I've got a compliment like that this week from cause you remember we did the podcast 2 weeks ago with Matt Codner? Mm-hmm. He said his grandma was watching the podcast and she doesn't know anything about anime. She was like, hey, that kid in the orange, I don't know anything about anime, but I could just listen to him talk all day.
That's super cool. Yeah.
And to hear that is dude, this is cool. And it kind of just opens up my mind to possibilities and more aspects because, my niche is anime, comics, cartoons, stuff like that. But to hear that people just enjoy just the talking overall, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's no longer the subject that you're in. You yourself become a personality.
Right.
And that subject is now something you report on, but you could report on multiple things as a skill you develop.
Exactly. So that's really cool to hear that. That's really, really cool. And a lot of people said that they loved the live stream aspect of it, which I think was a great call on their part.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't even know if I would have thought about having commentators up there. I probably would have just played the live stream, but the commentators helped facilitate it a lot because this is their first event. They've never done things like that. So some things did go wrong. There was a little bit more time in between events than expected.
The downtime was definitely the biggest kink they had on the road.
Yeah.
And that and like the sign up thing. And I think a lot of that is just, it's really difficult to scale that quickly.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough volunteers.
Yeah.
And you could see they were changing stuff on the fly, like with Assassin and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also good because it gives them a chance to look at it and fix it in the next one.
How did the volunteers like sign up? Did they just already have those people like on standby, or multiple people just?
They were sending out emails asking for people to sign up left and right.
Yeah, people signed up for volunteers. Yeah.
That seems like it would be a cool thing to volunteer for.
Yeah.
Even though next year I want to participate. If for some reason I don't. Like,
dude, come out.
Yeah,
dude, you gotta pull up. You gotta
pull up to the next one.
A lot of people in the chat kept telling me to participate, bro.
Yeah, I think next year I'm gonna try to pull up to the
They're
next
talking about maybe doing one in September.
Yeah. I really hope that happens because that was a fun ass time. I had a great time and I didn't even compete. Just watching it, being there with the energy, meeting all the people. And I'm a Hunter x Hunter fan. Hunter x Hunter is my favorite anime of all time. I believe it's the greatest anime of all time.
Okay.
I love it. So just being able to say like, I was a commentator at the first Hunter exams is crazy. You being able to say that you made it to the final round of the first Hunter exams is nuts. Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure you would have preferred to get the badge.
Of course. Yeah.
But you still did pretty fucking good.
I know the people that do have a hunter's license are like, dude, this is...
Yeah, the 9 guys who won.
Yeah, I know they're lit, bro. Insane. I know they're lit.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I definitely would have preferred to have won. That's, best in the world. However, at the same time, I think making it to the finals and losing in the finals actually might have been one of the best things that could have happened to me in a level of, like, the impact it had on my life, because it both showed me... It gave me the confidence to know that, like, wow, I actually am 18 and 1100.
Right.
Like, I am one of the rarest people there.
Yeah.
I made it through all this stuff, but also it showed me where I'm lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about, like, losing that's really powerful is there's 2 ways to take it. There's the way to take it where you take it personally and, like, it makes you think you're not enough, or you can take it with the mindset of, like, oh, my mistakes just had a spotlight shined on them.
Right.
And these things that I wasn't really sure about, I now know for a fact where I'm lacking and where I need to improve. And dude, how fortunate am I to get that feedback from the universe at 26?
Right.
Yeah.
And I still have the rest of my life to fix that and make up for it.
Facts.
Yeah. And one thing that I find very cool about what you do is, like, as a fitness content creator, you can just document all the training that you're going to be doing for the next one,
exactly.
which seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, right, and yes, you learned a lot in losing, but you barely lost. The crazy, for the memory tiles was the last round. So for the listeners who weren't able to tune into the stream, the first round was an 8-mile run.
Yep.
The second round was a game of Assassin where everybody had on flags and you had to capture other people's flags in order to gain points.
It was like a free-for-all capture the flag. It was crazy.
Yeah. Like your own flag was 3 points.
Yeah.
And each other flag you got was 1 point, and you needed a total of 4 points. So you really had to protect your flag while getting other people's flags.
I was trying to remember what game that's kind of like the My Hero Horse game that they were playing, kind of like that.
Kind of like that, but also how in the Hunter exams where they had their badges on, they had to get... It was similar to that. The third round was Labyrinth, in which you had 2 options. You could either do an American Ninja Warrior course, or you could team up and do escape rooms.
Yeah.
And then a game of Werewolf.
How did that break down? Like, was it basically 50-50? Like,
they just let you choose. And it did split pretty evenly. And then what happened was people were watching the Twitch stream there on their phones.
Yeah.
And seeing how the first group solved it. And then they went in knowing the answers.
Yeah.
So they ended up, there were 3 escape rooms on site. So the 2 that got compromised, they had to shut those down.
Yeah.
And only have 1 escape room. So some people who chose the escape room ended up having to go do the Labyrinth anyway, just for, time's sake.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then round 4 was a game of Werewolf, also known as Mafia. Some people call it Town of Salem, Secret Hitler. Game of that. And then the final phase.
The 1v1s.
The 1v1s, best 2 out of 3, tug of war, memory game, and 1v1 dodgeball.
Yep.
And you had the second best score in the memory game.
Yeah.
But you just happened to go up against
the guy who was the best.
the guy who was the best.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
So
I know, right?
And you, I think he had 32 correct? And you had 31 or something like that?
30.
30.
And everybody, I think the second or the third highest score was 24 or 25.
Yeah.
So when I went into that, I felt more confident about the tile game than I did tug of war.
Really?
Even before tug of war. I don't think anybody else there would have beat me in tug of war.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Maybe number 3. I think he was a power lifter.
Which one was number 3?
The
was that the one with the black tank top?
No, the Indian dude in the black shirt. Who people voted had the least aura.
Yeah.
Who they put up against that tall dude.
Yeah.
Who people said had the most aura. And he went in, he had that little smile on his face, and he yanked him, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That guy was strong.
He might have ate me, but so August,
he had to get that aura
what
back.
he did, he bunched up the rope in his hands like Squid Game. And as soon as they said go, he let go of the rope. And so I saw the live stream video. So I have a video from behind me where you can see what he did. And it's when you watch the video, his execution is so perfect, I can't even be mad.
Yeah, there was nothing you could have did to stop him.
I'm smart. I can't, that's kind of dope.
It was really good. I had a moment where I was pissed, because Matt told me to take the slack out of my rope when we started. So I was thinking, okay, it's just strength, but it also shows me that's where the actual mentality of being a hunter comes into play. Is
right.
Yeah, the task is get your opponent across the line, not pull the rope as hard as you can.
Right.
And I was going into thinking, I'm just going to pull the rope as hard as I can. And he went into it thinking, how am I going to get around the fact that my opponent is stronger than me?
Right.
And he did.
Yeah. And that was great. And he became a hunter.
Yep.
Man, out of the 5 rounds, which one would you say was the easiest for you and which one was the hardest? And which one was the most fun?
This will sound cocky. None of the first 4 rounds are really that hard for me.
Really? Because a lot of people said Assassin was terrible.
Assassin was
They said it was so hard.
There were some nerves to it, but it was quick. And I waited to the 4th round of Assassin because I really wanted to just watch and see what happened. And by the time I went in, most of the guys who were really athletic had already gone.
Yeah.
Which, they all went in the first round.
Yeah. So
I was just you guys have fun. I'm not going to throw myself into that.
Yeah, round 2 was crazy too.
Round 2 was insane. That one guy who got hit.
Round 2 was a bloodbath. There was literally a guy who got hit in the eye.
Yeah,
he had
collided.
Blood dripping down his eye.
Yeah, so
it looked like he used his Kamui too many times.
Yeah,
and I accidentally made that joke during the live stream.
He got
rocked,
why did I say man. I think he got concussed. It was serious. I saw it happen 30 feet right in front of where I was standing.
Whoa.
And I saw the bigger guy run. That guy had to weigh 220. He was a big dude. He was 6'3" guy.
Jeez.
And the smaller guy was probably 5'11", but he was pretty wiry. And they collide, and he goes face first into this guy's shoulder bone.
Jesus.
Down.
Yeah, I didn't see it until after. I just saw him bleeding, and I was like, oh my God. Because in person, the way the field was set up, we could only see half of the field because we had that booth in front of us.
And we were also all standing in front of you. So I was standing in the front of the field.
Yeah.
And I was there with the other Malcolm, the winged guy.
Yeah, yeah. Right? Everyone on stream loved him.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah.
So I met him a few months ago. I saw one of his highlight knockouts on Instagram.
Oh, he's a fighter?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a really good MMA fighter. He's an amateur. He did 17 street beefs fights and then just started going into amateur MMA. I think he's undefeated in MMA right now. He has 1 or 2 belts.
Jeez.
But I've never seen this guy because I watch a lot of street beefs.
You might have. Dude, he's dancing around.
He has a tattooed headband.
The halo tattooed. He's nuts.
Yeah.
But he's the best kind of nuts.
Yeah, he's a very, he's crazy, but he's a fun crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We interviewed him a couple times, and every single time I was talking to him, it was just a blast hanging out with him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. But he has a knockout where he does a cheatery and knocks the dude out with it.
That's
he starts the fight on all fours, runs around the outside of the ring, dragging his hand on the ground, stands up and decks the dude. One punch knocks him out.
And you know what? That
it's like
from meeting him one time, that 1,000,000,000% sounds like something he would do.
But he keeps doing shit like that in all his fights.
Yeah, he's
so I
crazy.
messaged him. I'm like, dude, your fights are great. And he'd seen my stuff. So he was like, dude, I think your stuff is great. And we found out that we were both going to the exams like 5 or 6 days before they happened. So
that was your first time meeting?
Yeah.
I thought you guys were longtime friends.
Dude, me and him clicked like that. That was literally, I felt like we were going and killing with the whole time.
Dude, I literally thought that y'all came together and you were long-term friends. I did not know y'all just met that day.
No, that was like the best part about it. Like I literally felt like I was in Hunter x Hunter and I met like another person who has like the same frequency of autism as me. Right. And we were just like hanging out the whole time.
Dude, I had no idea. I genuinely thought you guys knew each other.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. That's
right?
why, yeah, he was floating through the exams too.
Yeah.
Like nothing really, especially the werewolf game.
Dude, I need to watch the live stream and see what he did because he told me, and I quote, it was a masterclass in gaslighting.
Yes. He controlled the game from the very start.
That's crazy.
The second the game started, he had control of it the entire time. And the way that the game started was, from our perspective, we didn't know who was who at the start.
Oh.
Like, from the viewers didn't know at the start until the rounds went through because there are 3 games going at once. So the cameras were, the commentators were choosing which game to follow at what time. So we didn't know everything. I wholeheartedly believed he was a town member.
Really?
I wholeheartedly believed it. Until the night came and it was him and I was like, oh my God, he is absolutely playing them. And he had it locked down. No one suspected him. One dude suspected him like one time. And he didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
He had him so scared to say anything because he thought if he said anything, he would die.
Yeah.
So he just didn't say anything the whole time. The seer used his ability, knew he was the werewolf, and didn't tell anyone. It was a masterclass.
That's amazing. I gotta go back and watch it.
It was a masterclass. The live isn't up. So there's been some issues with, for some reason, the Twitch stream. Anybody who uses Twitch, normally VODs stay up for 2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
For some reason, the setting wasn't up.
Oh, no.
So it didn't stay on Twitch.
Is the footage saved, though?
All the footage is saved.
So they're going to compile everything.
They're going to compile and put it up. Yeah. So, but that's what's happening right now. That's why the footage isn't out right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I'm waiting on the footage, too, because I want to edit, make clips.
Yeah, same.
Even use that for, like, resumes and stuff for different broadcasting opportunities. So, yeah, that's why it's not up. By the time you guys are listening to this, it may be up.
Hopefully.
But as of recording, it's not up. So, that part kind of sucks. But the exams, overall, fire. So, you said none of the rounds were hard for you.
Not really. I think as far as like effort goes, I don't feel like I was going harder than like 80% like the entire time. The run, I just kept the pace.
Yeah.
I kind of knew like, okay, I started at the front of the pack. Matt said that thing about the gate only being 20 feet wide.
Yeah.
Do with that information what you will. I knew everyone was going to sprint past me.
Yeah.
I jogged. I kept the same pace up the entire run. Bunch of people passed me in the first 2 miles. And then the rest of the race, I was just passing people. And I finished in like pretty close to the top 100. And
I'm pretty sure you were pretty early. I remember you crossing.
Yeah, I finished pretty quick. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been running most of my life. I ran a marathon last year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What was the most fun round?
Ooh. They were all really fun.
Yeah. I was jealous watching people compete.
Ninja and Werewolf were probably the most fun. Werewolf was probably the most nerve-wracking. That was the one that like I was most nervous in. I was really, really confident about Ninja. Or not
the Assassin?
Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
the Ninja Warrior thing.
Okay.
I've also done a lot of Ninja Warrior stuff, so I kind of knew like, I can take this.
Yeah.
And Assassin, that was a scarier one, definitely.
Yeah. A lot of people went out. A lot of people who I thought were going to go the whole way. got out during Assassin.
All the other YouTubers got taken out in Assassin.
Yeah.
I was the
Lorian, everyone.
the only one that made it past that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just gone. And Assassin was like, you just had to flip a switch for it.
Mm-hmm.
You had to flip the switch and decide like, okay, like I am going in here to ruin someone's day.
Yeah.
That's it.
You gotta just attack.
Pick whoever you think is going to be the easiest to ruin their day.
Yeah.
For lack of better words, find your prey.
Pretty much all the girls got out.
Oh, yeah.
Because we interviewed a girl afterwards, and she said that the second it started, probably about 12 people looked straight at her and just flooded her.
Yeah.
Because Assassin was literally the game of, hey, get the weak link. The kids, there was like a group of people beforehand who were plotting on attacking the kids.
Yep.
Because Assassin is get in, get out as fast as you possibly can.
Was there like an age range for the Hunter exam?
Nope.
I think the youngest kids I saw there were like 12.
Yeah,
and
I think the youngest kid was...
There was a guy who finished the run right behind me that had to be in at least his mid-50s.
Yeah, there was a wide range. The youngest person who made it out of phase 1, I think was like 12.
Yeah.
I was doing the signups and like scanning people in. I scanned someone in who was about 9.
Wow.
Yeah, probably like 9, 10. It was him, it was 2 kids and a mom.
Yeah.
And he was young. But yeah, a lot of those kids didn't make it through phase 1, obviously. It's 8 miles. Yeah. What 9-year-old can just get up and run 8 miles?
Yeah.
But there was a wide range. There was old people, young people.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy in Assassin who me and him went up against each other for a second before both realizing that like, we should go find other people. And he had to have been in at least his mid-40s.
Yeah.
He was in great shape. Like we kind of like circled each other for a second before we were both just like, yeah, nah.
Like, nah, let's find somebody easier.
Well, because the risk is if you're battling with someone in Assassin, you run the risk of a third person coming in and snatching your belt while you're not looking.
Yeah.
Because that's what was happening to so many people.
Yeah, that's what one of the guys that we interviewed, I can't remember his name, but he was hilarious. He literally made it through the entire Hunter exams, like, by accident. He kept saying, like, it just keeps happening, bro. And he was in Assassin. He said he got his flag taken, and he turned around, and there was 2 people arguing with the ref. He said he just ran by, took their flags while they were arguing with the ref, and then another guy fell down, and he took that flag. So if you're
the
not
guy who
looking,
got the redemption?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where do you keep your flag?
You have to put them on your belt.
Yeah.
Okay, but the ones that you take,
you put them on your belt too.
Them on your belt. So there's like multiple Velcro
okay.
patches, and you got to put them.
Yeah, you grab them and you put them on your belt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I
was thinking you could just hold the ones that you took in your hand. And I was like,
no.
It's going to be impossible to take those back.
No, you grab them and you got to put them on your belt. But like round 2, not a lot of, like there were people who were literally fighting over flags in round 2.
Oh, yeah.
Phase 2 got gnarly.
It got intense, yeah.
Yeah, it got intense. Didn't you also lose your phone during phase 1?
Yeah, so Wing's brother came out and he was doing videography for us. And I had my phone in the pocket at the start of the run and I saw him at like one of the corners and I handed it to him. I was like, yo, hold this. I don't want it flopping around in my pocket while I'm running 8 miles. And he dropped it.
Damn. So you didn't even drop it?
No.
Damn.
Wow. He dropped it. And thankfully I have my laptop, so we set up a hotspot off of Wing's phone, and we found it. It was like on the course somewhere, on like a shortcut in the middle of it that he cut through when he was going to another spot to film.
Right.
And after phase 2, we had one of the ladies, volunteer lady, I think her name was Katie. She drove us out there in a golf cart. And we found it.
That's fire.
It was wild.
That's when I met you. Because I met you when you were talking to Dan, I think, about finding your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, we found it. It was fine. It literally just fell out of his pocket in the grass. But it's funny because it's just like the amount of like memories and lore that were created in that day. It was like ridiculous. Like I called my girlfriend that night and she asked me like, how the day was, and I'm like, I feel like it's been a week.
It was a long day.
It definitely looked like it.
It was such a long, because, well, what time did you end up getting there? You probably got there.
So I got up at 6 that morning, and I drove there, and I got there, I think, like 7-ish.
Yeah, most people got there probably around 7.
Yeah, and it was already packed.
Yeah, I got there like 6:30-ish.
Yeah.
And we left at around the same time.
Yeah, we left at like 9, bro.
Yeah. So that's a long, long day.
Yeah.
It was an intense day, and I was talking the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, literally, from the moment the stream went live at like 8, we got maybe 5 or 6 breaks. But other than that, we were just talking the entire time.
You know who was really grinding, though? That dude holding the camera set up.
Oh, my God, bro. Dude, the production team was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. They were the stars of the entire show. Because the fact that they were able to get all of that recorded, they had so many cameras, and did you do any interviews with us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did do an interview.
I think we did too.
Yeah. And you can hear it in your ears, like all the work that they're doing. It also made it kind of hard to commentate sometimes because we have all the production in our ears.
Yeah.
So we're trying to talk while also listening at the same time. But they were going overtime the whole time. They were killing it.
But there was one guy. So the guy, I think he was running the main camera for the stream. He had this, for lack of better words, like an Iron Man suit of a camera. Yeah. This thing he was piloting a mecha.
It was crazy.
This thing.
It was insane.
And he was on all day.
Man, he was doing his own 100
walking around. And then more than that, someone ran into him during the assassin game.
I saw that.
And he took like 2 steps off balance, didn't even lose his angle. And just kept going. It was like, who is this guy?
That takes training.
He should have competed. He should have put that camera down and hopped in the exams.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Snatch the flag.
Give me that. It was crazy, man. Like, it was such a great day. Honestly, it ended up being way better than I could have even expected it to. Yeah. And I think Matt had a great time. I'm glad. I think it came out as close to perfect as it could have. You know what I'm saying?
Given like when you don't have any trial to figure out what your errors are going to be and you just go in like that, it was 90% of what it needed to be.
Yeah. Especially with such a crazy turnout. Like you were expecting it to be only a couple people.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to accommodate for 1,000. Like
sign-in was absolute hell.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Now that, if I had to say the biggest issue, granted, we ended up getting over the issue and it all worked out, but the biggest issue by far was sign up. When I walked in, there was a good line of probably like 25, 30 people. By the time the event was supposed to start, there was a line of about, what would you say?
It was 300 people, yeah, because it was going all the way down to the fence and then wrapping around. I have a video of it.
Yeah. The sign-up part was crazy.
Yeah.
What happened was, and once again, if you've never done this, there's no way for you to know what's going to happen. In order to make it go faster, the day before, they scanned and made all the wristbands and set them to the side. So when people came, you scan their ticket, then you go and find their wristband, right? That doesn't work at all. Because there's 1,100 wristbands here. I'm sure they started off alphabetical, but by the time I got there at 6:30, they were barely alphabetical because people are sifting through them. Yeah. So it's literally like you come up to the counter, I scan your ticket, it says Emmanuel Crawford. Now I have to go search through 1,100 wristbands to find your Emmanuel Crawford wristband to give it to you.
Yeah.
It would have worked way. And then what ended up happening was they changed the system to where they set the boxes out and people had to go find them. But we're still scanning people in and some of the boxes just aren't there anymore. So now we're wasting more time. How it should have went was, there's no way to know this beforehand, is people should have come up to the desk and then they just make the wristband right there.
Yeah, they should have given them their number.
Yeah.
Literally just in order of who shows up.
Exactly.
And then you just attach your name to your number. And now it's for every person.
That would have been a lot more
that's how it should have went. But, there's just no way to know. But sign up was, and there was only and to make matters worse, there was only one scanner.
Oh, yeah.
It was Matt's phone.
I thought they had that little, white and gray thing that they were scanning bands with.
No, the white and gray is what makes the band and gives the number. So you take the blank wristband.
Because they touched our wristband with that after every event.
Yeah, see, that was after the wristbands were already made. So you had to make the wristband, and then that was what like implanted the code in the wristband, and that's how they scanned it. But in order to like check people in, to scan the ticket, we only had Matt's phone. So there were two like different ticketing websites. It was Ticket Tailor and Eventbrite. There was one Ticket Tailor phone and one Eventbrite phone.
Got it.
And we're trying to scan 1,100 people in with 2 phones.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's going to be damn near impossible.
It was. It was very, very impossible. I was so happy when they were like, yo, we need commentators. Like, we're about to get started. I was like, thank God I don't have to do this sign up anymore. But I was happy to help, you know. It was cool. And it made the event run a little bit smoother. And overall, it ended up being great. Any issues that you had with the
event?
Yeah. Like, what would you say some things you would think could be improved upon?
I would have ditched the escape rooms. And I would have, and this is all stuff that is probably higher budget.
Right.
So I can't really speak on what they did with their budget because I think they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I would have gone for a bigger obstacle course that could accommodate more people at the same time. Maybe even like things that require like teamwork obstacles, like a high wall that you have to boost people over or something, like stuff like that. Yeah. And
like just the 2 courses from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Like the 4-person or the 1-person course.
Wait, what?
You don't remember they had the
when they were in
you're talking about with Tompa?
Yeah,
with Tompa. Okay, yeah.
So there was like the 1-person side or the 4-person side.
That's what they were trying to emulate because the escape room was it ended up being 6-person. Yeah. And then the other one was 1-person.
But I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. Maybe don't do the escape room. I think the goal of the escape room was to kind of give people who aren't athletic a little more of a chance. Granted, you have to be athletic to do an 8-mile run. Yeah. So everyone there was
already
athletic.
Weaned out.
Yeah.
But what it did do was it took out the people who weren't agile.
Yeah.
Because you had all the people who, like, the people who made it through the run and made it through Assassin.
Yeah. And
there were a lot of big, strong dudes after that.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of those guys get smoked on the ninja course. Yes. I saw the guy who I wanted to avoid the most in Assassin was the dude who he won the run. Mm-hmm. And it was some track dude.
Oh, he came in first?
Yeah, that dude with the do-rag and the tats and the brand on his arm. You know who I'm talking about? Maybe he didn't come in first.
Yeah, no, I know who came in first. Fast. The dude who came in first was Alfredo. Alfredo Santana. He came in first. We interviewed him.
I knew the guy who came in second, Will. He was in our group for
Will came in
Werewolf.
Second. Yeah.
I forget, did he win or not?
He became a hunter.
So, but yeah, there was a dude with like a brand on his arm. Mm-hmm. Looked like a Greek signal, probably a fraternity thing. And I could just tell this was a sprinter.
Did he have a shaved head?
He had a do-rag.
Oh, so then maybe. Okay, yeah, it might not be the same guy.
Yeah, like light-skinned dude, brand, totally jacked, bunch of tattoos, and I saw the way he ran, and I'm like, man, I do not want to go near this guy. he went right in the first heat, and I saw him get smoked on the ninja course, and then I saw a bunch of other dudes who were jacked get smoked on the ninja course, and then even God, what was his name? I think it was Michael. He was the dude who had the shoulder tape, the big white dude.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He was so confident, bro. He was so confident.
He got like 49 seconds.
Yeah, he barely missed it. But, he came in, did an interview with us. Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to him a bit after. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he had a lot of
a bunch of the people who were there. Like, we're all talking still. It's cool how it's become a community.
Yeah, I've been talking to a good amount of the people too. Obviously, I'm not as locked in with them as you because you was in the fields with them.
But yeah, it was cool because it cut out all the bigger guys.
Yeah.
From it, and by the end of it, I think it was me and one other guy. The other guy who went first in the finals. We were the 2 biggest guys to make it through the ninja course.
Yeah.
And, when you look at how it started, the amount of guys who pulled up that were like 6'3" to 6'5" and jacked versus like who was left at Werewolf, it was like, oh, okay.
I think that's kind of the coolest thing about the hunter exams is, especially this first one is, you had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
And you had no idea how to train for it. The only way to train was just run. Because you knew there was going to be a long run. So just run a lot. But I think now people know that you have to train more than just your running ability. Yeah. You got to get your agility up. You have to get, like, there's so many things. I saw your training where you were doing, like, kip-ups and all types of different.
Agility, cartwheels, weapons training, climbing, just everything I could to just be kind of as all over as possible. I was playing board games and strategy games and stuff just to kind of keep my mind in place. The thing I was missing was athletic competition. And so when I asked August what he does, he's a soccer player.
That makes sense.
He's running a lot. He's agile. He's cutting, changing directions. But he's actively competing against other people. Soccer is very psychological.
Yeah.
You got a goalie you're shooting. You got to figure out where they're going to go and how you're going to kick the ball the other way. So that is actively tripping people up.
Right.
Yeah.
And also he works in finance.
Well.
So he's a numbers guy. That's how he got the tiles.
With the memory tiles.
So I was like, okay, he was like literally the worst opponent I could have had.
Yeah.
But.
Damn, that shit was crazy, man. Overall, I think it was a great event. I really, really hope they get another one done in September.
I think they will.
Yeah. I have high hopes. I'm supposed to have a meeting with them soon just to kind of debrief, plan, because I really, want to help as much as I can to just make this better and better and bigger and cooler. Cause
same.
This was a great starting point.
I think it's going to get a lot bigger. So I'm in LA. I'm friends with a guy who works for Viz Media. He's their community manager.
Oh, wow.
So he does events for them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Viz has the rights to the hunter.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were aware of the exam. They were interested in it. They wanted to see how it went, though, before they reached out. So I'm making a connection between Matt and my friend Godswill, who works for Viz.
Epic.
Wow,
so I think the next time it rolls around, it's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And I also spoke to Matt about like potentially doing one on the West Coast and in other places, because I think, if you can get 1,100 people to come out to the middle of nowhere, Virginia.
Right.
For people who don't know, like Los Angeles, there's a bunch of, like small areas around it. There's a spot called Lake Elsinore where I ran a Tough Mudder there a couple of years ago. And if they set something up on that course, the amount of space they could have. First you could set up a 15-mile run there easily. You could set up a massive obstacle course. You could set up everything you had there, but it's an hour and a half out of LA.
Right.
Which the amount of people that would come out of LA, Orange County, you'd have people driving in from Vegas, Scottsdale. You'd have people coming in from everywhere.
Hell yeah.
You could 10x
the
size of that event.
People flew in to Virginia, and in the
chat.
I
flew in.
Me too.
Yeah.
There were so many people who were in the chat saying, wow, I want to do this. And one question we were asking in the chat was like, where's everybody from? Yeah. And we got a lot of Texas.
Texas is big.
Texas is probably another spot they could look at. Exactly.
They did something outside of Austin or El Paso or something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be hot too. Like,
it would be super hot.
Yeah. Imagine that, like adding to the entire,
the weather was
beating
perfect.
on you. Like, it would really cut a lot of people out.
That heat will get you. Because that Texas heat is different. Yeah, especially in the end of September. That heat could be crazy. Yeah. You probably need a bigger medical team too.
Yeah, and I think
how was
it's
that?
also cool because
people just fainting left and forth, like just everywhere.
Left and forth.
I think there was left and back, right and forth.
There was one guy who twisted his ankle during the run, I think.
Yeah,
and then the collision on the assassin. But I don't think there was anything else.
Those are the only two I saw.
Which
that's pretty good. Yeah, that's
to have that many people there.
Yeah.
And have two issues?
Like minor injuries? Yeah, that's not bad.
Well, the eye guy was pretty major.
That's pretty
major.
I hope he went to the hospital.
Yeah. The twisted ankle guy seemed fine, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, bro, Leorio, who did that whole thing while fasting.
Yeah, he was like on Ramadan fasting or something, right?
He fasted the entire time.
Dude, that's nuts.
He didn't eat or drink the entire time he was there. We were going to interview him at the end, right?
Yeah.
But we were going to interview him after Werewolf because he got out in round 3.
Yeah.
And he was sitting with us waiting and we were like, yo, once this is over, we're cutting right to you. After probably about 10 minutes of Werewolf, he was like, yo, guys, I got to get out of here. Like, I'm so tired. I need to go home. I just can't be out here.
Where was he from?
I don't know. I don't know where he was from. I don't know if he traveled or not.
Oh, yeah.
But he did the whole thing in a suit and did great and had no food or water the entire... Because everyone else, you know, had snacks or drinks.
Dude, I was so prepped with food. I had 3 bags of beef jerky, a bag of banana chips, and a bag of almonds.
Smart.
That I already had. I had 3 bottles of water. One was coconut water, and then I had a bottle of Fiji that I put maple syrup and salt in for like extra electrolytes, and then I had another bottle of water.
There's electrolytes in maple syrup?
Oh yeah, sugar. Oh. So I have a bunch of friends who are ultra runners. Mm-hmm. So you know those sandals I was wearing?
Yeah.
So the lore of those are handmade by this guy in East LA.
Okay.
They're sick. So there's this gym called the Nomad Gym, and it's owned by this guy Hunter. Hunter is the definition of a hunter.
Dang.
He is a 220-pound jiu-jitsu black belt,
Jesus,
power lifter, and ultramarathon runner.
Whoa.
Wow. Hunter, at 8 o'clock every Friday night, runs 45 miles through the night into Saturday morning because he's currently training for his 100-mile race. It's his 4th attempt at running 100 miles. He's cleared 70.
70 miles is next level.
Yeah, so that's ridiculous.
I can barely drive 70 miles.
He does that in the sandals I was wearing.
Jeez. Did you run in those sandals?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I ran the marathon in those sandals too.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah. No, I like live and die by the barefoot sandals. I think they're fantastic.
That's fire.
But all the guys at his gym and like all the trainers, they're all running in those sandals.
Right.
And yeah, it's just a thing. But
damn, that's fucking epic, bro.
So are they meant to make running easier or like harder so that it like pushes you?
It's meant to mimic more of what running was like before modern shoes were created. And it's also meant to allow your toes to splay out naturally. Mm-hmm. So we're not really supposed to wear shoes that squeeze our toes together, which I'm a hypocrite for wearing Converse right now, but I kind of wanted to look fresh for this. But I'm going to go home and put toe spacers on. So
toe spacers?
Yeah. So it's like a rubber thing that I put between my toes that kind of let them spread out.
Kind of like at the
salon.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they make my feet feel better. But so I'm a big fan of barefoot running. I used to get plantar fasciitis in my arches when I would run and walk for a long time. And I realized a lot of it had to do with just I didn't have my arches trained up enough to support that.
Right.
So I started training barefoot, doing a lot more exercises where I'm walking on the different parts of my feet, training my toes individually and stuff like that, and spending more time running barefoot. And that helped with that a lot.
Damn.
So that's how I got into barefoot running.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little anime.
Oh, yeah.
What's your number one, first of all?
Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Ah.
Who the hell do you think I am?
You gotta love Gurren Lagann, man. That's one of those ones. You haven't watched it yet, have you?
Yeah, I haven't finished it.
Dude. I was actually watching Gurren Lagann before y'all got here in there. I was actually sitting there watching Gurren Lagann again. That one, I would say a lot of people would say that's their favorite anime.
It's incredible.
It's great.
And I think it's cool too because it's one of those shows that differentiates the generation of people who got into anime. Because I feel like a lot of the people who got into anime during the pandemic and like this new generation of like Gen Z anime fans, they've never even heard of it. They didn't see it because Gurren Lagann was 2007. Kill La Kill was like 2014.
Yeah.
So it's like people just like the people who got into anime with like Demon Slayer and stuff, they have no idea what they're missing.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing we've learned because we have the other show, Retro Crush Podcast. Yeah. And to do that, we've been watching a lot of the shows on the platform. That's kind of what we do week to week. We pick a title and we always watch like 90s anime, early 2000s, but to go and watch like 80s stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of fire.
A lot of
fun. Yeah. There's some heat there.
I'll drop. So this probably isn't my 5 favorite anime, but I'll do ones that most people haven't heard of because I think the audience needs to be aware of the heat that is out there.
All right.
Put them on.
So number 2, let's go with Space Dandy.
I've heard of Space Dandy. I've never watched it, but I have heard of it. You never heard of Space Dandy?
Oh my God.
No. I've heard of it. I never watched it though.
Dude, it's one of those shows you watch and you're like, it's not the most impactful show the way Gurren Lagann is.
Right.
But it's just good. You watch it, you're like, this is just a fucking great show.
Yeah. Those are some of my favorites, though, where it's not like super big mainstream, where you just like, wow, this is an underground.
Yeah, it's the
gem.
same studio as Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's based around music the same way they are.
Right.
But instead of jazz or hip hop, it's funk.
Yeah, I've seen clips of Space Dandy.
It takes itself a lot less seriously. It's a lot more of a comedy.
Right.
And it's like casual.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's cool about it is it actually takes place in the multiverse. And every episode, while they all kind of can chain together, you could watch the show in any order, with the exception of the last 2 episodes. Those are the only ones that kind of cohesively go into each other, because the subplot is every episode is actually taking place in a different universe.
That sounds kind of fire.
And
kind of reminds me of
it's pretty cool.
Just like thematically a little Fooly Cooley. I don't know if you've seen that one. Yeah. I feel like
I saw that forever ago.
Yeah.
I remember they made a second one, but I didn't see it.
I didn't even know that, actually.
Yeah, there's Fooly Cooley too.
I gotta tune into that.
All right, number 3. Let's go with I'm going to say Shura no Toki. Because I think that has some of...
Never heard of it.
So this is a 90s one. It's a martial arts one. And it has some of my favorite choreography of any fighting anime I've ever seen. And it's about this... It's 3 generations of like the head disciples of this martial art in feudal Japan. And it's called Mutsu Enmei Ryu. And they don't fight with swords. So they're just going around Japan, getting attacked by like swarms of samurai and taking out all of them with just their hands.
That does sound kind of fire.
And really cool. It's not like a superpower anime. Right. They're just that good.
Yeah.
So the choreography is like so beautiful with it.
And what's that one called again?
Shura no Toki.
I might have to tune into that.
Oh,
you're looking it up right now? Okay.
Yeah,
send me that. Send me that.
It's sick.
He said it. I was like, that sounds fire.
Yeah, that instantly caught my attention. I need to watch that.
Yeah, that one's great. I'm trying to pull
I don't think the one that I'm thinking of takes place in feudal Japan, though. Does the main character wear like an orange shirt?
No. Okay. No, he wears I think it's a white shirt and blue pants.
Okay.
I think. Maybe it might just be white shirt, white pants. He has like a brown ponytail.
In a hat?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I know what you're talking about. No, yeah. I know what you're talking about. That's not it. The one you're thinking of is actually Chinese.
I think so.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And what else?
Some more
Frieren Beyond Journey's End was phenomenal.
My God,
I watched that show earlier this year. With my friend Ben, we stumbled on it by accident, because we were just like watching Crunchyroll, and we watched it, and we were both like, "Holy shit, this is good!"
Frieren is beautiful.
And then we look it up and realize it got like Anime of the Year 2024, and dethroned Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is like top anime of all time or something. And we were like, "Oh no shit, it was that good."
That show is so cinematically beautiful.
Yeah.
And then on top of the dialogue feels real.
Yeah.
It just feels like the connections between all the characters are so genuine. And like Frieren remembering her family, like, and the people she's like been with through her life is just so, that show's amazing.
It's very melancholic and very stoic. And also like, it's cool because it's these very masculine, like melancholic, stoic, nostalgic elements, but it's a very feminine character displaying them. And it's so many contrasting emotions and ideas going on at the same time that flow together so well. It was incredible.
Facts. Yeah. I like how like the main topic is like time. And it's so deep into like all the different characters because Frieren experiences time differently than the other characters. Yeah. But then we also get to see her party grow up and get old, and she kind of gains more respect for time in her short amount of time that we see her. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What a good show.
Yeah, that show is great.
That shit is fire, bro. That's one of those ones.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most overrated anime?
Most overrated anime?
Yeah. Or one of the most overrated anime. We need some negativity, some hate. We've been too positive this episode.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, man.
Uh-oh.
Hunter, nah.
Everything after the end of Z.
Of like
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z?
Yep. Everything after Z.
You agree with
You
that?
gotta dab me up. Like, that's real. That's a real take.
Wow.
That's a real take. Bro, I like GT, personally.
That's why I thought
GT
that you wouldn't.
cool.
Yeah,
GT's
I
cool.
like GT, but that's a actual, like, people think that's a terrible take.
Right.
Yeah.
The Super is all spectacle.
It's all spectacle.
And they
100%.
don't even touch back on, like, how the original series was. Nor do they pick up, like, where they left off from
once
Z.
they get into
Super
like that
to me-
tournament of power, it's just 100% spectacle, and you
Yeah.
don't care about any of the characters for it. It's just how strong is the next person, and I hated that.
It's literally, it feels like a Disney franchise, like what they did to Marvel and Star Wars.
Yep.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
like my Goku is the Goku that fought Frieza. The Goku that got up there and had that speech of
Yeah.
I am the light in the dark. Like, that's Goku.
Yeah.
And the Goku in Super is like this goofy farm dad. Like, he's a caricature of Goku.
He's so
And there's no weight
yeah, they
to the
like
story.
boosted his goofiness a little too much.
My
It was like
Goku is the one that was running around with Android 8. Like,
Yeah.
like the initial Goku power pole, like, that's who I fell in love with.
Yeah.
And I felt like they kept that Goku all the way through Z, and then Super is just like this battle obsessed,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's not even a competitor anymore. Like, he doesn't even look at fighting like a competition. It's just like, this is what I enjoy. This is fun. This is fun. Like, no, that's not who Goku is.
And there's no weight to it, though. That's the big thing.
Goku was
It's
fighting
like,
for a reason before, and now it's like, there's no reason. He just battles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, it was like, this is what like young kids would love though. Cause now he's just a goofy, I fight for fun and I go against the strongest people in the universe. Like now they're trying to appeal to a much younger audience, it feels like.
Yeah.
And it's just literally not the same Goku.
And that's why I love GT, because I felt like GT even it connected back to Dragon Ball. It didn't connect to Z.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just, we're going to well, they did go to new planets, but like, it wasn't just, it was a adventure again. It wasn't just, there's a strong guy, we gotta fight him here.
Yeah.
We fight the Dragon Balls in GT. Like that's awesome.
It's cool. And again, it also, there's an actual element of like risk to the story. Like the thing with Super that just doesn't hit is in the back of your head, you know everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, because
you know it's going to be fine at the end because you know that it's in between Goku meeting Oob. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you know that no matter what happens in Super, everyone's going to be fine because everyone's at the Tournament of Power when they meet Oob.
And we didn't even meet Oob.
Exactly.
We didn't even meet Oob.
But
like, that was what I was waiting for. I wanted Oob. I'm like, where are they going to do this?
But GT is after Oob, so you can actually have an element of like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of the stakes in Dragon Ball were kind of just cheap. Like even when it comes to fusion and stuff like that, they do it like it's just nothing.
Yeah.
Like there's just any reason to do it.
You can just break out of this now. Like,
it's a whole lot of just, we're going to use this for spectacle and we're going to take away the stakes so that we can do it 20 more times.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, if we put these earrings on, we might be stuck like this. Like we don't know what's going to happen.
And then don't even get me started on the other group of Saiyans. That murdered me. Because they're just all Goku. Yeah. Like, they're all like nice and happy and they're the strong. They're way stronger than the Saiyans we got to know. And I'm like,
I hated that.
Planet Vegeta, it was like Planet Vegeta does exist. Like, it's just in a different universe now.
Well, that's one of the things that, conversely, I think Naruto did really well. Is Naruto feels like war the entire time, and it has a really good way of consistently making the stakes higher and higher and higher, and world building in a really smooth way. And I think One Piece does that too.
I agree with that for Naruto, except for once we hit the fourth Ninja War, I think if they took it just a little too high.
I'm gonna go
I don't think Kaguya should have happened.
Exactly. Yeah. I think they took it just too high.
I think the stakes were still good. I enjoyed all of that. But one thing, watching it, I just realized that this was where the fighting was going to get a little bit ridiculous, is when the second Sasuke tamed Lightning, that's when I was like, oh, this is where we get into the ninjutsu that become insane.
I disagree. I love Kirin.
Kirin
is hard.
That was the one where I was like,
that
this is where we get too much.
I was like, this is some OG Naruto shit.
Yeah, that was the last one.
He looks to the sky and says, "This cost me no chakra," and I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy."
Yeah,
I was like, "This is serious."
I like that because Kirin. I feel like my favorite part of OG Naruto that kind of got lost a little bit in Shippuden is in OG Naruto, they were still ninjas, and what mattered so much was outthinking your opponent, right? Yeah. But then by the fourth Ninja War, it wasn't even about thinking anymore. It was just like...
It was just who's stronger.
Yeah. Not just who's stronger, who was ordained by Ninja God, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Which is a weird kind of, like... It's a weird break in what Naruto is about, where it's like Naruto is this misfit kid that through hard work gets his way there, and then to find out that like, oh, he's actually like the sole heir of the two most powerful bloodlines and a direct descendant of like the sage of six paths himself. And also has the most powerful tailed beast.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, okay.
Son of the fourth Hokage. Like he literally, me, like, his lineage couldn't be better.
Yeah. That whole speech that he gave Neji about your past not mattering and none of the destiny, but that was all bullshit.
All that in the garbage. By the end of it, he was like, hey, your entire bloodline is great and I'm supposed to be trash. And they were like, no, you're Minato's son. You're... Like you have
actually a from the second strongest, the third strongest
like
clan.
You're Uzumaki.
Like
chosen, taught by Jiraiya, Sage of Six Paths, reincarnation of Ashura, was given the strongest tail beat. Like, everything you could have. Every single
one of your teachers were the greatest ninja to ever live. Like Kakashi, Jiraiya. Like how are we going to act like you're not blessed?
Rock Lee was the best character and I stand by that.
Best by what standard?
Yeah, best is
he's a hater.
No, that's not the thing. I love Rock Lee. Rock Lee is cool as fuck.
Truest to the actual idea of what Naruto started with.
That I agree with.
Hard work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Outworking, outsmarting, and outskilling your opponent. And
but he lost every fight except for that one against Sasuke. That's my thing about Rock Lee. Rock Lee worked hard as fuck.
He was done extremely dirty.
But he got smoked down every chance they got.
You know how
they didn't give him respect.
Plot armor?
Yeah.
He did not have that.
He had the opposite of that.
He had the opposite of plot.
Yeah, I mean, he was a complete jobber.
Yeah.
But he was a really good jobber.
Yeah.
Then I just feel like every single time they could have blessed him, they were like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, you're not from Uzumaki, like Senju type Uchiha. You can't be that good.
But part of the reason that he didn't get blessed is because Might Guy never died. They were like, if we gonna give this to Lee, we might as well just give it to Might Guy.
He did.
But that was it was like, Lee could do all of this stuff, but Might Guy is still alive, so let's give him the 8 days.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reason to give Lee anything.
Yeah, I think when Might Guy went 8th gates up against Madara, that chance should have been given to Rock Lee, because then we could have actually seen all of Rock Lee's training, and he would have had, like, the moment that we were supposed to get with Neji when Neji died.
Yeah.
That moment of like, oh wow, all of this leads to here, and this is their heroic moment where he gets to like show us what he's made of, which ended up getting stepped on because it was a fucking stick. What the hell?
Yeah, I was like...
But Rock Lee should have got that moment. He should have went 8th gates and showed everybody like, I can do things. I'm just as strong as you guys. Like, I actually am a splendid ninja. That's what I would have liked.
I will admit, I did like that it was Might Guy because he was like passing the torch.
Yeah.
He was like, my era of youth is over.
But they didn't pass it. That's the problem.
So I think Might Guy is a better character than Rock Lee.
Yeah.
And when they go into his backstory, and Might Guy also actually wins fights too, and is a direct rival of Kakashi.
Facts.
So it's like Might Guy, like the aura he carries is cool, and it's also cool because he's a misfit in his village. Like people like look at him weird.
Yeah.
And like and he's this character of like people like calling him a loser and a weirdo, and he's so positive. He's just like, thanks for your support. Like he's just like, the fact that you're even like acknowledging I exist is enough for me to feel positive about myself. And like that's energy I appreciate and take in my own life, because people think what I do with the swords is weird all the time.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, that's okay. Awesome, though. I know that it works. I love it. I don't care if people think it's weird. Yeah. Thanks for commenting on my post and boosting my engagement in the algorithm.
Literally talking about a guy like that right before you walked in.
Yeah.
It was like he just came out the woodwork hating.
Yeah.
And it was like he pre-hated and then he was wrong.
Yeah. There was a guy last night, I made a post, and within, I think 12 minutes of the post being posted, he commented, that's why this video has less than 10 comments.
Yeah.
It had just got posted.
Yeah.
Right now,
right,
I think
you just gave it another one.
It has 60,000 views and like 150 comments. Like I literally commented on it. I said, it just got posted. Just wait. I know what my posts do. So it's like when people don't understand when they hate on people on social media, all that does is make it better. Especially he commented that within the first 10 minutes. Comments in the first 10 minutes are great for engagement.
Exactly.
Like, the more you get, the sooner, the bigger your video is going to get. So if you want to hate this early, you literally just
You did me a favor.
Yeah. Like, thank you,
Dude,
bro.
I argue with trolls.
Yeah.
And I don't take it personally. I argue with them with the intention of trying to get them to comment more.
Facts.
Because I want them to. And it works.
Exactly. People don't get it, man.
My posts go viral. Dude, like my most viral videos on TikTok all have arguments going in the comments.
Yes.
That's when the engagement
goes
the best.
There's a 300 comment thread on one of my TikToks with 14 million views.
Whoa.
And it's because somebody said, when are you going to swing the biblically accurate Dragon Slayer? Because they're referring to the manga one, which is 400 pounds.
Right.
And it turns into a Christianity versus Islam argument
in
the comments. And people were going at each other. And I didn't even read all, but I kind of scrolled through it and I'm just like,
goodness
gracious. For the engagement,
keep going,
guys.
man.
Like, yeah. Keep going.
I have nothing to do with this. But
but you guys want to argue?
Like, first of all, I'm Jewish.
Hey, this don't got nothing to do with me. How did you get, like, what made you, was that your first TikTok that blew up, like the swinging the Demon Slayer sword?
Day 7 of the Dragon Slayer was my first TikTok that blew up. December 7th, 2022.
And what made you decide to do that?
So there was a dude here in Chicago I was training with who had made one like as a cosplay thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of trained with it as like a gag. And I took it and ran with it because I'd been training with swords for 8 years. I have my black belt in Shaolin Kung Fu. I grew up doing karate. I've done martial arts my whole life.
Whoa.
And when I'd already been training with like, you know, heavy practice swords, and things like that. I was using like 3 baseball bats that I would hold and I would do my sword forms holding them. And so the idea of like the Dragon Slayer as a training tool was great for me. And I'm just a nerd about like athletic training and exercise science in general. So I look at like club swinging, mace training, certain types of like hypertrophy training, athletic training. Like I just study this stuff.
Right.
And there's really nothing like the Dragon Slayer where you use leverage as a tool for strength training, not just for momentum and flow, but actually using raw strength to manipulate leverage back and forth.
Right.
So I wanted to create that.
Damn. What muscle group does that even hit them? What, like your back? Everything, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah, like the answer of like what muscle group is just yes.
Damn.
It's everything, because what it's doing is it's taxing the kinetic chain. And what your kinetic chain is it's the way your muscles link together and move kinetic energy throughout your body.
Right.
So, and what you can do with your kinetic chain is you can multiply power. So if I throw a punch with just my arm, this isn't very strong. But if I turn my chest, this is double the power. Now if I turn my hips, triple. Now if I put my legs into it and I spin my calf and knee inwards and I wind up, bam, that's a full punch. Exactly.
I'm like, that's one of the things
then
learned
you
from
can
Ippo.
jump forward with it too.
Right.
So you're teaching your body to work together. And the thing with the Dragon Slayer is it exposes weaknesses in your kinetic chain, because as you're training with it, you can feel where in your system you're feeling weakness. So now you know, like, oh, as I'm at the top of the swing and the sword is pulling me back this way, my left shoulder feels like that's the weak link. So now you know I have to train this exclusively so that this is no longer the weak link. And also training the whole system together teaches you how to be more in your body and to get your body to work together and be more coordinated.
That's awesome. Bro, it's so fucking
Like,
cool.
they need to start teaching that in Kamigawa jail, man.
Bro, that's cool as shit, bro.
This is probably one of my favorite guests we've ever had.
I think I agree with that, dude.
It's really cool.
It was just amazing. Like, everything he's talked about has been, like, the Naruto conversation, the agility versus strength.
Yeah.
Like, y'all's entire experience at the Hunter x Hunter,
the exams,
exams, yo.
Yeah, this shit has been crazy,
cool.
bro.
It's been cool listening
guys.
to you, man.
Yeah. Dude, it's been great being here.
Bro, you're fucking awesome, dude. I'm gonna be honest. We're at like an hour plus.
Okay.
So,
sweet.
yeah, this has been a good-ass episode, bro.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Dude, and it just worked out perfectly that you happen to be coming to Chicago right after the Hunter exams.
Yeah.
That shit is perfect, bro. That shit is perfect. We're definitely gonna link up more if you're ever in Chicago when I'm in LA.
Here at least once a month.
Oh, okay,
so
word.
I manufacture the swords here.
Okay, awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I mean, making swords in LA would literally be twice as expensive, and I'm from here, so I have more connections here. So yeah, I manufacture them in Forest Park.
Oh shit, we're from Oak Park, which is literally damn near Forest Park.
Yeah, so I make them there. I have an incredible manufacturer for them.
Damn.
And yeah, I send them out of there, and then I'll make like custom ones,
right?
Either at my uncle's place or at on my patio in LA.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the bulk of them are made here. And then my second business is called the Hip Helper, and it's a massage tool that me and my friend created together.
Mm-hmm.
So before I started making the swords, I was working as a stretch therapist.
Right.
So I was like, it's kind of similar to a massage therapist, but it's more like mobility and stretching oriented.
Right.
So I was doing body work. So I created a tool to help people with that. And what you do is you put it into your hips and you just lay on it or lean against the wall, and it presses on your psoas muscle, which is the muscle that connects your spine to your hips, the innermost muscle of your core.
Right.
And it relieves lower back tension.
I might need one of them.
It's awesome. I have one in the car. I'll show you after.
Yeah, I want to grab one of those. Dude,
I could have brought it in.
Dude, if you're here once a month, bro, you got to come back.
Dude, let's do it.
We got to have you on for another episode, bro.
Yeah.
1,000%.
We didn't even get into the One Piece nerding out. I'm up to date on the manga. We could go down that rabbit hole.
This
we
is
could go,
One
Piece
nerd out on the
Hajime
right
no
here,
Ippo
bro.
manga.
Hey,
we could go down the
It was my number 3, bro.
Yeah.
That's my number 3. I got Hunter x Hunter, Code Geass, Hajime no Ippo.
I still haven't seen Code Geass.
You're in for a treat.
I have a few things with it. I know I got to see Code Geass. I know I got to see the Fate series.
We all need to tune into that, but we haven't got to it.
I always end up in the wrong spot.
I'm like, if we can all collaborate on where to start.
Like, I just got to find out where it starts, and then
let's all watch a different one and tell each other which one makes the most sense.
Yeah. Dude, perfect. Bro, you got to pull back up for sure, man.
Dude, absolutely.
Let the people know where to follow you.
So you can find me at Ashman Athletics on Instagram and at Tommy Ashman on YouTube and TikTok. And then if you want to get your own Dragon Slayer, you can go on ashmanathletics.com. We got Dragon Slayers and training programs for them. I got a few other products as well. And then to get a hip helper, you can go on fixyahips.com or thehiphelper.com.
Fire. Yeah,
awesome.
You know what? I'm going to probably need one of those hip helpers. I'm going to be honest. That's probably going to be fire. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. If y'all have not done so already, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Come join the Discord if you want to talk with us. It's like one big group chat for all of our listeners. Rock with the Patreon. We always got some cool stuff over there. We just did a super fun challenge video, which C2 loved. I mean, we all loved it, but you were super turned.
I loved it. It was awesome.
Y'all are awesome, man. We'll catch you on the next one. We're out. Peace.